Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
All right, just to make this known that this is an open speaker meeting. We all know that. I don't want to cut too much to the time of the speaker, but I've been knowing this lady and her family, well, since I got sober, really, and they're really special to me. Their dad, their husband was very special to me, and I try to take care of them as much as I can. I know I don't go there as much as I need to or should. They're killing that lawnmower without me. But Gail said it's not cutting straight. And I went and I looked at her. She was cutting the grass on flat tires. So no, it's not gonna cut straight. But not to cut into Belinda's time too much, I want to announce our speaker, Miss Belinda F.
Hi everybody, I'm Belinda. I'm an alcoholic. First I want to tell Dennis thank you for asking me. It's wow, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. I'm glad Central Office puts a fundraiser on like this, and for those of you who don't know what the purpose of Central Office is, be happy for you to see me after the meeting, and I'll be happy to tell you what it's about. I'm sure Dennis and Linda and other volunteers there will be happy to as well. Because I'm positive, for me, without Central Office, the message of Alcoholics Anonymous wouldn't get out in the area the way it does. You know, it's kind of neat to look out and see so many of y'all that I love. So many of y'all that put smiles on my face and taught me how to live today. And God, wow, there's a lot. Alcoholics Anonymous gave me that. Because without Alcoholics Anonymous, I certainly wouldn't be standing up here. Yeah, my dad died. It'll be 3 years this month, and most of you know that he died with 33 and a half years in sobriety. And that's amazing to me. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity. The truth is, he gave me my first year chip, and I gave him his last 33-year chip, and it's only because of Alcoholics Anonymous and the people in it. Sometimes I have to pause and ask God to come in because I want to get in the way. You know, the book tells me I'm to talk about what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. And more importantly, it also says that I'm to talk about how I established my relationship with God. God was a word I didn't like before I got here. You know, I went to church and been baptized and blessed and you know, self-help books and wellness books, and I didn't like to hear any of it. I tried sometimes, though. I did grow up in an alcoholic home, you know, and I knew a few things when I was growing up. I didn't want to be an alcoholic like my father. I loved softball, horses, and dance, and those were the things I enjoyed. The truth is, about the time my father quit drinking when I was about 12, that's about when I started. You know, I don't know what, you know, the stories I'm going to tell you is not what makes me an alcoholic, but I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what it was like for me growing up. That alcoholic home, I mean, my perception, my mom's here and my sister's here, and she's not one of us. But she certainly has helped me establish and improve my relationship with God. Thank you, sister. Sister. You know, I grew up in this home, and it's my perception. It might be a little different than theirs, but I learned how to walk in the house and kind of look and see how Mom was, what kind of mood she was in and how she was acting, because that helped me know how I needed to act. Because you see, I might need to be quiet, or I might need to go in my room, or I probably needed to clean up, you know, because it determined how Dad was. You know, was he drunk? Was he not drunk? Did he want to drink? You know, had he had too much, not quite enough? But I learned from a very young age how I was going to come in this house and I was going to just try to be whatever it is anybody in the house wanted me to be. I became real good at it. I remember at some point I was like, let me talk to Dad, I can do that. Because you see, I learned to be whatever it is y'all wanted me to be. It didn't matter. Of course, I didn't know any of this growing up. I don't remember my first drink, but I remember some of my earlier drunks, and then Mom and Dad go out of town, and that good old Strawberry Hill Tickle Pink, and it was like, yeah. But what I remember about that is I didn't have just one. It was a race to see how fast I can finish that whole bottle. And I remember being sick and throwing up and going to school the next day still hungover, and I could just taste that. It was just nasty. My sophomore year in high school, you know, everybody was doing their drugs and stuff, and God forbid I wasn't going to do that, right? But, you know, what I decided to do, a group of us got together and we drank before school, and go figure, I overshot the mark, you see, because I was just going to have one or two before school, and I ended up having just a little bit too much, and I get to school, and I never quite made it to first hour. You know, I can hardly walk. I'm trying to follow the lines on the ground, and then the counselor comes, gets me, and says, come on, Belinda. You know, and I got suspended. That was my first consequence of drinking. And I remember when Dad came home for lunch, if I remember correctly, and I had already thrown up in the kitchen sink. Dad walked in, and you know what? He wasn't that mad. It was strange, you see, because by this time he was sober in Alcoholics Anonymous, and for some reason he understood why I drink the way I drink. And it was kind of amazing to me. Again, I didn't realize that at the time, but the fact, you know, I got in trouble and stuff like that, but he really wasn't just that mad, because you see, my dad was an angry drunk, angry sober, and angry whatever. He was retired Air Force, and it was his way or the highway. You know, I'm not going to talk that much about my drinking, but what I'm going to talk about is what happened when I drink. You know, I got married to the guy I was dating in high school, and I remember thinking, he drinks too much. I mean, like, he did. I mean, he drank every day. He probably had 2 beers, 3 beers, ate dinner, watched a little news, went to bed, but it was every day. I mean, God forbid, he might be alcoholic like my father, but of course I married him anyway. But I didn't drink every day, God forbid. Remember, I'm not going to be an alcoholic like my father. But what happened was when I drank, you know, I mean, if I could get away with it. And I remember my husband at the time was like, you change when you drink. I'm like, I don't change, you change, you know. But we go, you know, I was in banking, and we'd go to these functions, and I'd start drinking, and I always overshot the mark. I mean, I thought maybe if I drank a little bit, I'd dance better, feel better. I mean, I was really uncomfortable with him next to me. I mean, after all, he might have had 1 or 2 beers, and I'm not going to like the fact that he might be alcoholic. So I start drinking and always overshot the mark. That marriage didn't go over very well. And I remember at one point, though, before, I said, this is how it's going to be, right? I'm miserable, not happy in the marriage. He was just like my father. He was possessive, controlling, and I just had enough. But at one point I said, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to make the best of it. And so, of course, I spent the next few years doing whatever it is I needed to do to make him happy. You know, if I need to clean up a little bit more, cook a little bit more, not wear certain things, fix my hair a certain way, don't fix it. I mean, it was just constant. Let me figure out what I need to do to please him. And for me, the marriage like that didn't work out very well. And I left him, and I remember being scared to death, you know, because God forbid, what is he going to do to me? What's going to happen to me? All of that stuff, but I did anyway. It made for real good drinking, though, because when I left that marriage, I had every night of the week a different bar, a different place to go, and I managed to keep my job in banking. You know, I used to think alcohol didn't affect my banking, but it did. You know, I'd show up maybe a few minutes late. I wasn't treating the customers quite right, probably a little aggravated, definitely tired. But it wasn't that bad yet. But I did. I had a different bar to go to each night, and I had it all figured out. I was managing well. You know, if I could go to this Poets, Tenacious Tuesday, right? They got a little food. I got to eat now, right? Because, I mean, I got to make sure I can continue to drink, because if I don't drink, If I don't eat, I'm gonna get sick, and it's just that all just trying to figure it all out, you know. I met my second husband not long after, and yeah, you know what? He drank too much. I mean, this dude drank Budweiser every day. I'm not gonna drink every day, right? Because I'm not gonna be alcoholic like my father. And about 28 years old, I was introduced to some other stuff, and it made a good mixture for me for a while. And what I realize now is that I like to feel different, or basically I didn't like to feel. You see, because that first marriage, it ended, and I didn't have that white picket fence, that dream that I had that it was going to be great and this was the rest of my life. I can drink. You see, because I didn't have to have that guilt and shame for it not working. It didn't matter. I married the second guy, and some of the outside issues come in, and some other crazy stuff starts happening, and yeah, there was some sexual abuse in that second marriage, and at the time it wasn't so bad, but you see, for me it was so important. It was so important. Every part of my body said, I have to do these things to please him, because if I don't please him, I'm not going to be okay. And why not? I'm familiar with that, right? And it made good for real good getting drunk. You see, because I can drink. And when I'd wake up and do some stuff that I wasn't real happy with, or wasn't happy with him, I can drink and I didn't have to feel. This is a program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I absolutely respect the singleness of purpose. Drugs became a part of my life. Drinking was priority. It was always the first and the last. I'm going to go ahead and go through several years, and at one point I got to where if I can just get off the cocaine, I would be all right. And I only say that, not to disrespect Alcoholics Anonymous, but I'm going to tell you the way I thought. If I could just get off of this stuff, I'm going to be okay, right? Because I thought this is my problem. While I'm doing all other outside issues, drinking, whatever. I remember at one point I said, if I can get off the Jägermeister, I'm going to quit fighting. Because the Jägermeister make me fight, right? Well, let me tell you, tequila makes me fight too. I tried, like the book talks about, every imaginable remedy. I'd switch. Wine was a good thing. I'm going to switch to wine because, maybe I won't quite get so drunk. And that second marriage, I remember many times I'd get home from work and I'd say, okay, I'm going to go have 2 drinks. I'll be home at 7. 7 o'clock, never quite got there. But what I used to do for a while was that I'd call at 8 and say, okay, I'm having one more, I'll be home at 9, call at 9, have one more, I'll be home at 10. I was also a drink counter. You see, I could go out and I said, okay, I'm going to have 3 drinks tonight, and I get to drink number 3. I'm like, oh, no, this is enough. This is enough. I can't have any more. Oh, well, one more. It was always one more. Just one more. And please don't fill up my wine before it's empty, because I'm counting. I'm counting. I got to make sure if you fill it up, I'm going to lose count, right? Crazy the way I try to manage those things. I remember in the beginning of 2008, and I thought this other stuff was my problem, if I could just get off of this stuff, right? And if I can't get off of this stuff, I'm going to go to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous and pick up a desire chip. Well, I don't know if I said desire chip, but I'm going to go to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, and if that doesn't work, I'm going to go to treatment. What happened, I found myself, I did. If I would try to get off of this stuff, and it worked okay for a little while, and it wasn't working too good. So I went to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I picked up a chip. I don't know what I said, how I introduced myself or anything, but I remember seeing Terry there. I'll never forget it. I saw Terry there, and I'm like, oh my God, don't tell my mom and dad you saw me here, right? I didn't want them to know. It was crazy. It was like, that's the only thought I had is, oh my God, Terry's going to tell mom and dad they saw me here. Oh my God. That's just pure insanity. I'm like they would have been real thankful at that time. That meeting didn't work for me. That one meeting didn't work, and I kept doing what I was doing. Of course, I went to the meeting loaded. I wasn't drunk, but I found myself basically in a place that I was facing 2 years in prison because I had been to jail and I got busted, and that year program they put me on, I couldn't pass it. Everything about me, I wanted to not be doing what I was doing, and I wanted to do what the judge asked me to do, and I wanted to be living in a different life, and I could not stop. Just couldn't stop. I could switch some stuff. I can go from one thing to another, but I couldn't stop. And went back in front of the judge. He's like, okay, Belinda, now, this is your requirements now. You're going to have to go, a typical weekly test, and you need to start these classes, and you need to pay this money. And that first, I'm like, okay, I got this, okay. That first test, well, I can't go. I've got so much stuff in my body, I can't even get there, much less take the test, right? And I said, well, you know what? I remember the judge saying that, okay, well, if it's a bad test the first time, as long as the amounts go down, you'll be all right. Well, I just didn't go. And the Monday, it was time for me to go to that class, and I had been on I had slept for 3 days because I had been up. I found myself out of money. I was out of everything I needed to put in my body to make me feel different. My truck wasn't running. I wasn't talking to my family. In fact, I read a story in the back of the big book this morning, only because it's something I committed to do, not because I wanted to, trust me. But in there it was telling the story about somebody told him he disgusted him. I remember my daddy before I got sober. He made that phone call and he said, Belinda, you disgust me. I'm Daddy's little girl, right? I disgusted my own father. Daddy tried to talk to me. He asked me, Belinda, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, I ran from him like the plague. I didn't want to talk to him. I found myself sitting in that bedroom, and at this time my living arrangements were really horrible. Too many people in the house, I'll just say that. And I begged them to blow my head off and put me out of my misery, because no amount of anything I put in my body killed that pain anymore. I hear people talk about it, and it happened for me. It quit working. No matter how much I drank or did, I couldn't kill that anger anymore. I couldn't kill that fear anymore. I couldn't kill that guilt and that shame and that remorse. I just couldn't, nothing killed it anymore. And I found myself in a position begging them, loudly I might add, with a few choice words, to blow my brains out, putting me out of my misery. I made a few phone calls, and one of the last ones was Mom and Dad, and I asked them to help me. There was a detox facility that was available for me to go to, and they came to get me before I was even packed to go. I remember on the way to that detox facility, Dad was asking me certain questions and stuff, and he said, Belinda, are you alcoholic or drug addict? Oh, I'm drug addict, Daddy, right? Because the truth is, the last 5 years, that's all I did, and lots of it. Every single day, as much as I could, and drank in between, only because I had to add to what I was doing. And I'm thankful. Treatment is not a requirement. But I'm thankful for me that I went to a treatment center that went through the first 103 pages of the big book twice. They read the big book to me. They broke it down. They explained it to me. They defined the words. And they taught me how to do the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And in there, when they went through the doctor's opinion and explained to me for the first time I saw, they showed me. In fact, let me say this. Anything I think I know right now, anything I have this experience of, it's only because of you people and the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Y'all taught me. Y'all showed me. Any of these ideas I have, not of me. Remember, I drink. Y'all have helped me find a relationship with a God of my own understanding. Might not be your God, but He is mine, and I kind of like Him. Yeah, He really works for me. But what I'm going to do is share my experience with you. I'm going to tell you about that I lied, cheated, and stole in sobriety. I'm going to tell you my relationships haven't worked out very well, but a lot of them have. I get in that treatment center and they break down the doctor's opinion and they tell me why I can't not drink. You see, because I'm powerless over alcohol. I cannot not drink, right? As much as I want to, as good intentions I had, as much as I wanted to show up and be that sister, that daughter, that friend, I couldn't. I'm powerless over alcohol because I cannot not drink, and my life's unmanageable because I try to manage it. I just explained to you how my management skills have worked for me. The book talks about of Alcoholics Anonymous. I had moral and philosophical convictions galore. I grew up in a home with a father that was in the military, and he had some rules and he had some guidelines. And I disregarded that because it was more important to me. And I had no, like in my mind told me I had no other choice but to drink. It worked for me for a long time. It did. It helped me live my life. It was absolutely the solution to all my problems. I just described that. Thank God Alcoholics Anonymous has a solution. A lot of times in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, before we start the meeting, we have a moment of silence for the still suffering alcoholics. I have no doubt there's some still suffering alcoholics in this room right now. It breaks my heart. I know for me, like so many others, I was given so many life jackets thrown at me. When I went to detox, I took two big books of Alcoholics Anonymous with me. I have no idea where they came from. I think my daddy gave my husband at the time one of them when he thought he had a problem with alcohol. And I don't know where the other one came from, and I don't know why I brought them. And they told me in there, I'm like, where do you begin? You see, because Mom started going to Al-Anon when I was 4 years old, so she's going to be in Al-Anon for 46 years. She hates when I say that because she doesn't want to brag about it. But what I know is I have a woman in my life that is my mother that leads by example. I guarantee you, go get in her car. She's got speaker CDs on. She goes to open meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. She's involved in Al-Anon. She has book studies at her house in Al-Anon and brings people through the book. I wake up in the morning usually before her, and when I walk back in, she's praying and meditating. God, I only pray that I can continue to do this one day at a time so I can be a fine enough example as she is. There's spiritual principles to the 12 steps, and we talk about them all the time. Spiritual principle to step 2 is hope. I had to hope. It says, came to believe a power greater than myself can restore me to sanity. If I'm powerless, I need some power. Where does it come from? From a higher power. But all I had to do, I don't have to believe anything when I came in here. I just had to have hope that this can work for me. I remember when I first got out of treatment and I got into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, it was so comforting to see some good friends of mine, some guys I used to party with that were there. And they had been sober for a while. And to watch them and see that their life has changed was incredible to me. I don't know where you are. But to come back, to watch people come in behind me that I thought was dead or would have died, and to watch their life change, that's probably even better. I'm all over the place, but anyway. So I'm in this treatment center and they explain the disease of alcoholism to me and the physical allergy and the mental obsession. You see, because I always think it's going to be different this time. Or even if I'm not drinking, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to drink, how I'm going to get it, how I'm going to pay for it, what I'm going to do with it after, and what might happen, but it's okay, I got to figure it out. It's always that obsession. It's going to be an obsession. It's a thought that overruled all other thoughts. It didn't matter if I disgusted my dad. It didn't matter that I didn't work for 5 years. It didn't matter that my ex-husband was living in this room and me and my boyfriend were living in that room. It didn't matter that when my truck was running or that I was out of food. I had to keep on. I had to keep drinking because I didn't want to feel. Step 3, faith. So now you're telling me I got to believe in something I can't see? But what I can see are the people who came before me. And I can see that there's something different about them. It doesn't say I have to make a decision right now. It said made a decision. And it said made a decision. But if I make a decision to get up and stop talking right now and walk out, okay, I made the decision. It's just a decision. And I was told I just have to ask. And in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a prayer. And it says we voice this prayer out loud. After the third step prayer, the big book talks about next we launched out in the course of vigorous action. It doesn't say you sit on your butt. It doesn't say you go to 90 meetings in 90 days. It doesn't say you drink occasionally. Step 1, I can't. Step 2, God can. Step 3, I have to let him. But only because y'all showed me how to do things, what I needed to do, give up on my ideas because they didn't work very well for me. And y'all taught me to write. You see, because that 4th step, everything I had to put down in that 4th step, those resentments and that conduct, because let me tell you, I had some conduct, some bad conduct. I had lots of fear because, look, I heard John said this one time. I didn't hear him, but I heard he said it. I was just like him. I had an alligator mouth and a hummingbird butt. I did. I mean, I thought I was all that. Sorry. I hope that's true. Yeah, good thing. But that was me. I mean, when I heard that, that is so me. I mean, I got this loud mouth. I'm all that. I'm going to hurt you. I'm not scared of nothing. Not true. Not true. In treatment, I did a 4th step as it was done. It was a checklist, kind of out of the big book, kind of similar. And I left nothing out. I'm not saying there's a right way or wrong way. This way worked for me the first time I did it. And I literally wrote everything they told me to write because at this point, more than anything, I don't want to drink again. I'm tired. I'm tired. I have no more options. So I write all this stuff and I leave nothing out and I'm not scared anymore because I just want to get it out. I get a temporary sponsor in there. I share all this stuff with her. She helps me see some truths about what's going on. And I got to see things from an entirely different angle. I got to see my wrongs. See, the book doesn't tell me to see my part. Because let me tell you, if I got a part, y'all still got a part too. It says, see my wrongs. And y'all taught me that. And in treatment, I went through 6 and 7, those 2 little paragraphs in the big book. 6, got it, willing, check, 7, so yeah. Okay, I got my list. I got my list of people I harmed. That's how 6 and 7 was for me in treatment. That's simple. I didn't have no big bright white light experience. I didn't feel relief from doing all this stuff. But what I still had was the willingness. You see, because in the back of the big book, in the spiritual appendices as well as in the book, it talks about the essential requirements for recovery. If you want to recover, it says honesty, open-mindedness, willingness. Remember, my options are out. I don't know how not to drink. I don't know how to live. But once I asked for help, God graced me with a day sober. And God put certain people in my life to help me. So I in treatment, I got my harms list and I'm ready to go out and make amends. And they said, don't go out and make amends, show with your actions. And here's step 10, continue to take your inventory. Here's step 11. I love step 11, but I'm going to get to that one in a minute. And then there's step 12. And in treatment, the truth is, they told me do 10, 11, 12 daily. You'll never have to do another 4th step. And I'm like, cool, I'm out. And I knew at this time I was 44 years old and I didn't know how to live. And I took another suggestion. They suggested I go to a sober living house, and I did. And I remember I was in there a few weeks, and I threw my first phone at the boyfriend that I got sober with because he made me mad. And I'm like, oh, psh, there goes that phone. It shatters again. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to live sober and angry like this. This is ridiculous. What am I not doing? Oh, step 11. You see, because in the big book it talks about that, specific instructions. Step 11 starts when we retire at night, but for me what I started doing was the paragraph where it starts, on awakening, clear-cut directions. Step 11 has been always an ever-changing thing for me, but what I did in that sober living house and continue to do for a long time was every morning I read On Awakening. You see, because just in those few pages, there's about 6 prayers in there. It says, I ask God to direct my thinking. You see, because I don't need to come in here knowing how to pray. I mean, I just don't. There's nowhere it says you have to know how to pray. It says it in there. If I do these things, I get these things, those promises. I'm going to get off for a minute. Those promises we talk about and read in most meetings, those 9-step promises, they're wonderful. But let me tell you, from the 2 pages, little pages into the book, there's a promise in there. It talks about how we recover. There's 3rd step promises. There's promises in every step. They're amazing. 10th step, they're good. So there's a lot more promises in the big book than the ones we read in a meeting. If you're not happy, joyous, and free, well, I don't know what you need to do, but I know for me, I want to be sober, happy, joyous, and free. Life is life. But I can maintain that often by following a few simple rules. I get out of treatment, and I'm blessed to have met many women, and I got a sponsor. And my sponsor took me back through the book, word by word, line by line, page by page. And when it said pray, we prayed. When it says write, we wrote. Thank God. She taught me how to live again. Get up in the morning, take a shower, get a job, put gas in the car, change the oil, how to have relationships. Those steps 6 and 7 I was talking about in treatment that I went through real quick, I'm absolutely positive it's a very important part of my life today. Just the other day I was going through something and she's like, Belinda, you're practicing 6 and 7 right now. I'm like, oh really? She's like, yeah, your actions are different. I'm like, yeah, because in step 6 I'm willing. In step 7 I ask God. And when I do that, I don't have to go off on anybody. Because let me tell you, sometimes I get really mad and I want to tell you all about yourself. I'm just like it described on page 60 to 63 in the big book. I'm that little bitty actor, not even the director. Picture a big movie production, right? I'm that little bitty actor and I'm trying to run the whole show. I'm trying to direct it. I'm trying to arrange all of y'all in the way y'all need to be, I think y'all need to be, how I think y'all need to be, all of that. If I could just arrange y'all the way I think I should, I would be happy, right? I've tried that and it didn't work either. You see, because in the book, it talks about I can wrest satisfaction, meaning I can seize by force satisfaction out of this world if I only manage well. Well, I have these great management skills. Don't y'all want to listen to me? It was worth a shot. I'm positive. I have absolutely no idea what y'all need to do. And most of the time I don't have any idea what I need to do. But thank God that my sponsor and other people in this program has helped connect me to a God of my own understanding so that I can have him direct my thinking. On the way over here, Gwen wanted to ride, and I was like, yeah, I need to talk to you anyway. Because there was something I was doing that was dishonest, and it ain't for all of y'all to know about, but I'll say that much. And it was so important to me because, you see, if I keep doing these dishonest things or if I keep living a life that I think my God does not want me to live, I cannot be of maximum service to him or my fellows. And I knew if I kept that little secret and kept doing what I was doing when I was aware of it, I can't get up here and help anybody. And the only way I can is by clearing this stuff away so that God can use me as a vessel so that I can help somebody, any kind of way that might be. Dang, I'm all over the place. Step 11. That first prayer in there talks about direct my thinking. You see, because my thinking's messed up. Remember, I think it's a good idea to drink. I think it's a good idea to take your stuff. I think it's a good idea to do whatever's illegal. Maybe take your husband. I'm saying. Not anymore. Am I red? Sorry. I'm serious, my thinking's messed up. In fact, I'm going to tell you this experience I had that was really, really cool. The lady I work for, I bring her to church. Not because I want to go there. I get paid to bring her, basically. And we go to church, and I'm just, okay, God, just help me hear the message. Maybe I can help somebody else, you know. And I go in there, and they got this little priest, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh, my God, his eyes look so evil. I'm like, oh, Belinda, stop thinking that. I'm like, oh, man, they look so evil. And then he holds that cup up like that, and I'm like, oh, he looks like monkey arms. I'm like, God. I'm like, please, Belinda, stop. Okay, it's okay. So look out here and see God in these people. Come on, Belinda. Okay, you gotta stop. Oh, you're old. You fat. You need a new haircut. So I'm like, oh my God, Belinda, really, really stop. I can't. But the moment I stopped and prayed and asked God for help, I opened my eyes, and what I saw was God and every one of the people that were sitting in that church. You see, because on my own, I drink. On my own, I still think some crazy stuff. I mean, I just do. If God's directing my thinking, even though it goes crazy, at some point, I can pause. You see, because in that On Awakening, it talks about that. We pause when agitated or doubtful, and we ask God for the right thought or action. See, on my own, I can't. On my own, I drink. On my own, I don't pay my bills. On my own, I don't work. On my own, my daddy's disgusted. So many times in that On Awakening, there's prayers. You want something different? Try something different. You see, because throughout the big book, it tells me several times we ask God. Well, that's a prayer if I'm asking God. There's a fear prayer. I get in fear all the time. There's a prayer for that too. It's simple. We ask God to remove our fear and direct our attention to what He would have us be. I mean, that's happy, joyous, and free. On my own, though, I can't not be full of fear or anger. Okay, or taking your husband. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think I ever took anybody's husband. I was kind of getting carried away. But it's true, on my own, that's the kind of stupid stuff I did. That's probably a lie. Sorry? Nobody in the room, though. Okay. Okay. Several prayers in there. If God's directing my thinking, He gives me inspiration and intuitive thought or decision. Because most of the time I want to make the wrong one. I was telling one of my sponsors the other day, I said, you got to come tonight because I'm scared nobody's going to be there. I mean, my thinking's really messed up. Who cares? Step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps. It doesn't say having had a spiritual awakening as a result of going to meetings. I love my meetings. Oh, by the way, my home group is Any Lengths. It meets Monday through Friday at noon at Turning Point. We have different literature meetings. We have lots of newcomers. If anybody's ever looking for sponsees, there's plenty there. I love my home group. A couple months ago, I didn't like them so much. But that was me. Of course. Had nothing to do with them. We follow the traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. If you don't know what traditions are, they're in the back of the big book too. But more importantly, ask a home group member. And if they don't know what the traditions are, maybe and ask another one. And if they don't know what they are, come to my home group. Just saying. The traditions, simply for me to remember, is that's how Alcoholics Anonymous is around, because we follow certain guides. I'm thankful that sponsorship and good people in Alcoholics Anonymous taught me about the traditions. There's still whole lots about the traditions that I can learn. Alcoholics Anonymous is a triangle. We have recovery, the 12 steps. Thank God. Because I have to do the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous so that I can recover, so that I can be maximum service to God and my fellows. I have to apply certain things in my life, the spiritual principles. Bottom line is, I must change, period. Y'all don't have to. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. I have to change. I have to change the way I think. I have to change the way I act, the way I react. Maybe it's sometime I need to do something. Most of the time, it's probably I don't need to do something. I was taught, back to sponsorship. I have a sponsor who has a sponsor. I sponsor women who sponsor women. You're missing it. If you've worked the steps and had a spiritual awakening as a result of the steps, and you're not sponsoring people, you're missing it. Now, do I understand that sometimes, well, no, I don't. I don't. There's plenty of people that need an opportunity to have sponsors, and sometimes we're willing not to step up. A lot of times I get like, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, you do what I did with you, like they did with me. Because you see, if I have 1 day sober, that's more than the newcomer coming in. Now, can I take them through the steps if I have 1 day sober? Probably not. But what I can do, if I can't carry the message, I can carry them to the messenger. On page 52 of the big book, it talks about the bedevilments. I came in here because I was having trouble with personal relationships. Couldn't make a living. Absolutely useless. So much about the big book describes me. Even in sobriety, sometimes I still have the same things. But y'all taught me there is a solution. I was 58 days sober, and I got a phone call when I was at that sober living house, and my niece, 27 years old, beautiful girl, big blue eyes, full of life, died. Took some pills, passed out in the car, froze to death. Her brother's in prison right now serving 15 years because when he takes Xanax, he likes stealing your stuff. 15 years. No drug charges, no alcohol charges. Strictly stealing because that's what he likes to do when he drinks and does drugs. He was sentenced when I was a couple of months sober. When I was a few months sober, my father was diagnosed with a very rapid, fast-growing type of cancer. I didn't drink over any of it. Now, did I choose not to drink? No. Mm-mm. Remember, I lost the power of choice. On my own, I could not drink. But by following some suggestions and working the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and doing what y'all told me to do, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, it wasn't even an option. It wasn't a thought. I remember the look on Mom's face when we talked about my niece dying. I was like, Mama, I'm not going to celebrate her death by drinking. That's not me. Remember, I drink. My sobriety date's November 18th of 2008. God's good. All I did at the beginning was ask for help. I was desperate enough to do something different. When I got my 1-year chip, my daddy gave it to me. Cool deal. When he got his 33-year chip, his last chip, I gave it to him. I held on to my 1-year chip for about another year and a half. Because you see, I wasn't going to give that one away, right? Because my daddy gave me my 1-year chip. And at one meeting, I finally, how many times have we heard this, right? You can't keep it unless you give it away. That included that chip. I wouldn't have had that chip if it weren't for Alcoholics Anonymous. I wouldn't have had that chip if y'all wouldn't have taught me what y'all did and how to go through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous so I can get connected with a God of my own understanding. How can I be so selfish to keep that? So I gave it away. I gave it away. Truth is, I still got Daddy's chip, though. Oh, and it's 1 year lighter, I might add. If God ever reveals to me that I need to give that away, though, I'll be happy to. Because if y'all wouldn't have given to me what's been given y'all, if I wouldn't be dead, I sure wish I would be. It's funny how I can all of a sudden see y'all again. I can't even express the love that I have for y'all. I have spent my entire life doing the complete opposite of the St. Francis prayer. It's in the 12 and 12. I have spent my entire life wanting y'all to love me. I did it growing up. If I could just do it right, if I could do it better, if I could be good enough, y'all will love me. Y'all will forgive me. Y'all will bring me light. I wanted y'all to give to me. I wanted y'all to forgive me and calm me. Alcoholics Anonymous taught me that wasn't where it's at. Alcoholics Anonymous and you people taught me how to love, how to forgive, how to comfort, how to bring light when there's darkness. Y'all brought me hope. I can bring hope today. On my own, I drink. Every morning. Okay, so already twice this year, I know for sure I didn't do it. Most every morning, I wake up and I pray and meditate. I read some stuff. I read daily reflections, conference-approved literature. I read some other stuff that's not. Because my whole goal, my aim is to do what y'all taught me. I want a God conscious. Because if I can think about God instead of thinking about arranging y'all like I need y'all to be so I'll be okay, I can pause. I can ask God for help. I can ask God to remove my fear. I can ask God to direct my attention to what He would have me be. I can ask God to save me from being angry. That's a good one. That's a good one. And sometimes I just ask God, please help. Just please help. Earlier this week, I actually was awake for over 4 hours. I'm never awake for that long. I hit the bed, I'm out like a light, and I was so disturbed by it. I'm like, I can't even figure out what's going on, what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, why can't I sleep, right? And I'm praying, I'm like, oh my God. And I'm thankful that there's a friend that stays up late, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I sent him a text. And I'm like, I'm going nuts, I can't sleep. But after just texting back and forth a little bit, and I start texting, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm full of fear. I got this chili cook-off. I got to do a good job. I got to look good. Just saying, that's just how it is. I got these extra expenses. Am I going to have the money? I'm not saving. I got this friend that's not working out very well, and then I had to send her a message saying, leave me alone. But once I started writing, it was almost like, pen to paper. In the book, it talks about that we put some of this stuff before course, in black and white. Okay, so this was text. I don't necessarily recommend it. It just worked for me this night. And as I'm doing this, I realize the old ideas are coming back. I'm not good enough. I should have done it this way. I didn't do it this way. I mean, I could be better. Oh my God, full of fear. I mean, it was crazy. I didn't have to drink over any of it. I didn't even have, I don't even want to say have to. I managed through all of that. Maybe a little aggravated in front of Mama, because we live together. She gets a little brunt of it. You know, I didn't have to tell anybody off. I didn't have to cuss them out. I didn't have to be ugly or unloving or unkind. Only God can do that. Who's on here? I'd like to say I don't know how it works, but that's not necessarily true because the directions are in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge any of you who are not happy, joyous, and free or want to feel something a little bit different, ask me. Ask me. I might not be able to help you. I can't help everybody. I don't have all the experiences. But what I can do is I have a lot of great people and great friends and good guides in Alcoholics Anonymous. And if I can't help you, I will find somebody who will. Through great sponsorship and great leadership, I have been taught how important it was to get involved in the service of Alcoholics Anonymous. Thank God. How does Alcoholics Anonymous stay? How do these things get put on? Who does all this work? How did Alcoholics Anonymous stay around for over 75 years to help this drunk? Thank God. And when it started with Bill W. and Dr. Bob, they formed a structure for this deal. And they did some stuff by trial and error, and they found a way to have some good guides to keep this program as it was originally written and to continue to keep it around for 75 years. Well, more than that, 6 something, whatever. I mean, that's incredible. Thank you, 77. That's incredible. But if you're not sure, I mean, like, where's that money? What is this money for that we're here to raise? This is a fundraiser for central office. Y'all know where the money goes from? I ain't got time to explain all that. You know where the money in your basket goes? Where do the books come from? How do we carry the message of Alcoholics Anonymous to other people? If you don't know that, I challenge you to get involved and find out. Because if it wasn't for people who did that for me, I couldn't be here. I couldn't be here. Of course, it's all about me, but... But I couldn't be here to carry the message of Alcoholics Anonymous, to give other people hope that maybe they can recover from this disease. Love y'all, I'm done.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.